Just ahead today on WJTV 12 at 4, the Brookhaven Police Department investigating after several credit card skimmers are found outside of gas station pumps. What they say you need to know so that you don't become the next victim of this scam. Plus, students across the country planning to walk out of class will tell you the message that they're hoping to get across. That and more coming up. But first, a look at the forecast.
Well, right now across South Central Mississippi, it's another fairly cool and sunny evening out there. It's 58 degrees in Yazoo City, Rolling Fork and Durant, 61 right now at the top of the hour in Jackson. Farther south, it's a bit warmer at 64 in Macomb, Tylertown, and Hattiesburg. On satellite radar, the surface high pressure that was over the northern Great Plains yesterday is now right across the Mississippi River, still keeping the weather fairly calm and quiet and temperatures cooler. But later tomorrow morning, we're still going to be fairly cold with a freeze warning in effect for our counties east of the metro, stretching from Atala County all the way down to the Pine Belt. And then for tomorrow afternoon, we will be a little bit warmer as those winds shift to the south. A few thunderstorms are possible on Friday and scattered showers expected on Saturday. Talk all about that and have your 8-day forecast coming up in about 10 minutes. Terrence?
Griffin, thank you, and thank you for joining us today at 4. I'm Terrence. Friday, state leaders are serving up ideas for better funding for education in Mississippi. WJTV's Natay Holmes talked with lawmakers at the Legislative Scrambler who say it's now time to start supporting teachers in the classrooms.
Education has been a hot topic during this year's legislative session. At Wednesday's Legislative Scrambler, lawmakers cracked down on the fact that a teacher's job is far from being over easy.
Teachers have a tough job, and if you don't believe me, take some time and go visit a school and go in there and see what these people do.
Mississippi House Representative Rob Robertson believes the state should do more to support our teachers.
I believe that we have the best teachers in the nation. The reason I believe that is because I've watched them.
Senator Gray Tollison says some have the impression that education funding in Mississippi doesn't compare to other states, but that's not the case.
If you compare Mississippi on a per capita basis, we rank 17th in the country in the amount of money we give to K-12 education, and that is from the U.S. Census Bureau.
But Tollison says there are flaws in the current formula, where the richer school districts are getting richer.
We need to, as I said, try to be fair across the board in the amount of money that students are getting.
The proposed education funding bill would have helped with the flaws. It was passed in the House, but didn't boil over well in the Senate.
One of the reasons that we had a hard time with the passing of this bill had a lot to do with politics. The bulk of the people that were against the way the ed bill was set up had not read it.
Robertson believes it's time for lawmakers to stop scrambling and put all their eggs in the teachers' baskets.
We can do that if we all come together and be on the same page and start letting our teachers know that we genuinely care about them.
Natay Holmes, WJTV 12.
Senator Tollison says there will not be a special session to talk about the education bill, but he believes that lawmakers will see another education bill again next year. The Legislative Scrambler is put on by the Mississippi Economic Council. Also for you today at 4, students walked out of Pascagoula High School this morning. It was part of the nationwide student walkout. It's in protest of the gun violence in America. Dubbed National Walkout Day, students left their classrooms at 10 this morning for 17 minutes. Those minutes honoring the 17 victims of the Parkland shooting that happened 1 month ago today. Students held handmade signs with messages like "We stand with Parkland and protect our kids." They say they deserve to be heard when it comes to the seriousness of gun violence in schools.
I think that there's a serious problem in our country that not many people are willing to discuss. And, I think a lot of people think that young people don't know what we're talking about, that we're not educated yet, but we're going to be voting soon. A lot of us, we are the next generation. We're going to have to live with whatever laws that the current lawmakers make today. Our voice and our opinion matters more than they really want to acknowledge.
Kenyatta and her peers say they will be in Gulfport on March 24th for the nationwide March for Our Lives event. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, the House and Senate discussed the Parkland shooting as students protested outside. Karen Kafa has a look at that walkout in Washington.
The House of Representatives passing a measure aimed at funding more security in schools.
The yeas are 407, the nays are 10.
While students nationwide participated in walkouts, school shootings were high on the agenda for Congress. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi was among lawmakers who joined students outside the U.S. Capitol.
No one's political survival is more important than the survival of our children.
Florida Senators Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio were among witnesses before a Senate hearing on the February 14th shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and how to prevent future tragedies.
The one thing I believe we do have common ground on is I know of no one in this country who wants to see another community or another state endure such senseless violence.
In the wake of Parkland, a number of bills have been proposed, but action has been slow. President Trump has reiterated support for a bipartisan Senate bill to strengthen background checks. It was introduced after the November church massacre in Sutherland Springs, Texas, but has not seen a vote.
Look at the age.
But the president did not include raising the minimum purchase age for guns to 21 among his recent proposals. And gun control advocates say he bowed to outside pressure.
Well, we found out that he was afraid of the NRA. But are you afraid of the NRA?
So students also took their message to the White House in silence with their backs turned for 17 minutes, one for each of the Parkland victims. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Well, the Mississippi ACLU is moving forward with what may become a class action lawsuit against the Madison County Sheriff's Department. Last year, a lawsuit was filed against that department. There were claims that the department targets people in the black community. Well, now the ACLU has filed a motion for a class certification. Now, that's something that's required before you can move forward with filing a class action lawsuit. The group is presenting 6 months of documentation in support of its claims. Attorney John Youngwood says that deputies target African Americans in home searches, jump out patrols, and roadblocks, along with using racially offensive slurs.
We have testimony from Madison County patrol supervisors that, among other things, that he'd used, that individuals had used racial slurs in the course of carrying out official duties, and that there had been no discipline.
If we don't stand up and speak out and confront this reality, then blacks in Madison County will continue to be subject to such treatment.
Now, the County Sheriff's Department will have a chance to respond to the ACLU's motion by May 8th. We have reached out to the department about this issue, but the information officer says that the sheriff cannot comment because of pending litigation. The Mississippi Tea Party wants Governor Phil Bryant to appoint Chris McDaniel to retiring U.S. Senator Thad Cochran's seat. WJTV's Beth Alexander now joins us from the Capitol, where activists held a rally.
There were a couple of dozen people here. They wanted to show Governor Phil Bryant that there's a strong grassroots demand for State Senator Chris McDaniel to take Senator Thad Cochran's seat in the U.S. Senate.
We need a budget balancer. We need a fighter. We need someone who will help President Trump drain the swamp.
McDaniel is in the race against Roger Wicker for U.S. Senator. He has said that he might switch and run for Cochran's seat, but is yet to make that decision. At the state capitol, Beth Alexander, WJTV 12.
And Brookhaven Police now warning credit card users that thieves can steal your personal information. It can happen to anyone. 2 credit card skimmers were found attached to card readers at gas stations in the city recently. It's a small device that gets access to your account and can steal your money. There have already been reports of people losing money because of these skimmers.
They're easily installed in just a few minutes. And the locking mechanism on the gas pumps are so easy to get into. And it don't take them a few minutes. The station could be busy. They can install them. They don't have to wait till the station is closed. And then they can access these, your PIN number, your credit card, anything that you're doing on that machine, they can access it from a computer.
Usually they have 2 interviews. Now, the police department posted a video to its Facebook page to warn everyone about the scam. One of the best ways to avoid being scammed, we're told, is to just go inside the gas station if you are using a card. In Yazoo County, the river levels are rising now. The backwater from the Mississippi River has been flowing now into other rivers in the county. The river is going to crest in Vicksburg at 50.2 inches, which will directly impact the levels in Yazoo County. As you can see, the water has already been high in a lot of areas, and it will only get higher in the coming days. The EMA director for the county says that officials are watching closely.
8 roads flooded in Yazoo County from flooding going on. We expect some relief to start maybe Saturday when they're predicting everything to crest. Right now, I want everybody to be careful when they're traveling down the road, even if the road is not covered in water. You go water on the side of the road when you have a traffic accident, and now you become a victim of a water accident.
Roads that are blocked will be stopped by the authorities. Still ahead on WJTV 12 at 5, we'll hear from some farmers in the area who say that the continuous flooding in Yazoo is impacting their crops. All right, Griffin, it's been a great day today so far weather-wise, and a lot of people are hoping it sticks around.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to be the bearer of bad news. This weekend looks fairly wet. The chances of rain for the St. Patrick's Day parade have now gone up to 40% as opposed to 30% yesterday. And it's going to be humid, too. Dew points are more than likely going to be in the mid-60s, and then temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s during the afternoon. So we'll talk all about this and have your 8-day forecast coming up after the break.